You've come to the right place. If you're looking to create, launch, and scale a high value online training program, I'm your guide, Chris Badgett. I'm the co founder of LifterLMS, the most powerful learning management system for WordPress. Stay to the end. I've got something special for you. Enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of LMS Cast. I'm Chris Badgett. And today I'm doing a solo episode about how to plan for an entire year. As I'm recording this, it's the tail end of 2025. And we have a resource on the LifterLMS website in the LifterLMS Academy called the Annual Planning System. I'm going to go over some of the highest level concepts in that, but I would encourage you to go check out the Annual Planning System. I happen to actually be a very big planner and believer in plans. And there's so much going on in our space in terms of change and disruption and the economy and geopolitics and everything that having a plan, an intentional plan, but more importantly than a plan is the system you use to create the plan, can really increase your odds of success as a course creator, a coach, a membership site owner, as a WordPress professional who builds learning management system websites for clients. I'm going to give you all the secret sauce on planning. And we're in this interesting stage where the education market is maturing. We have artificial intelligence accelerating in the world, in the economy, in tech. But keep in mind that planning doesn't equal prediction, but what a plan gives you is a much higher odd of success. So there's a famous quote that Mike Tyson said that everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. But what I want to say is the act of planning and coming up with a strong plan is super important and makes you far more robust and capable and clear and a better leader and just an easier way of being in the world in terms of business and even life. So this is for the course creators, coaches, membership site owners, and agencies out there. And we're going to go over the planning stack because it all cascades down from the plan. And the problem with entrepreneurship is a lot of us have to constantly zoom in and zoom out. We may zoom out and work on a strategic thing, and then we have to get in the weeds and work on a very small technical issue or work with a specific customer or work with a team member. But what I encourage you to do is to create the space to actually stay zoomed out and create a really high level plan, but then also start taking step functions down from a big vision to an annual plan to a quarterly plan and down to a monthly plan, down to a weekly plan, down to your daily action and project management and things like that. The annual plan, basically, which is what we're primarily focused on today, is going to set the direction. The quarterly plan creates focus. The weekly execution creates the momentum of executing on the plan. But the common failure points are that plans are too vague or not committed to, or there literally is no plan. I'm often shocked when I see entrepreneurs of all kinds, not just education entrepreneurs, literally with zero plan in 100% reactive mode. And it's sad because life and business could be so much better with some planning. That doesn't mean you're not going to get setbacks or some kind of macro shift from the global economy or whatever, and things are just going to change and your plan kind of gets outdated. But it's the active planning that is super important. And it's important to mention that even if your plan gets hit off track by some event, it doesn't mean you can't pivot the plan, edit the plan, change the plan, reprioritize what's in the plan. The first thing we're going to talk about is really your core focus when it comes to a plan. You've heard me mention, if you've listened to this podcast, I think Dane Maxwell, who we interviewed on this podcast a while ago, said it best, that a business is really only three things: a customer, a result, and a mechanism. So the customer is who you serve. The result is the outcome that they want, usually pleasure, pain, or transformation based. And the mechanism is how you facilitate the result for the core customer. That's literally all business is. And we have a challenge in our industry where a lot of folks are super focused on their mechanism, like what we do, how we do it. I sell to people who want what I know how to do. It's very vague. But the first part of creating an annual plan is to really drill in on that core focus and find the signal in the noise. The first part, I just want to say, I've been in this industry for almost 2 decades, and I realize that the number one thing missing from most businesses that hold them back from success is online education companies is the who. You should always start with the who. Who are we helping? Who is it? Who is the customer? Some people call that the customer avatar, the ideal customer persona. But what in reality happens is a lot of people are not very clear on the who, and they're just saying, I help anybody who wants what I do. So that's not a who statement. That's a mechanism first thinking statement. So we got to get clear on who we serve. As you create your plan, the number one thing I would recommend you do is to figure out and even challenge yourself if you think you're clear on who it is that you help. So you got to develop that. You got to question, even if you think you're already doing it, you've got a clear, target market and customer avatar and stuff. I want to challenge you to keep drilling in on the who do you help? What are their pains? What are their frustrations? What do they want? What results do they want? I heard, I think it was Dev Basu who said that customers only want four things: to save time. What was the other one? Sorry, save time. Oh, here we go. Sorry, let me back that up. What he said is customers are looking for four things: speed, certainty, and insight. And the fourth one, which is funny but not really, is to stay out of jail. So when you are creating an offer for a specific person, they're either looking for speed, certainty, or insight, or to stay out of jail. So when you're really clear on your who is, and you figure out which one of those like primaries are between speed, certainty, insight, stay out of jail, you're starting to get much more crystallized around who it is you help, how you help them, and the benefit that they see in you, which now are tied into the result or the transformation. So let's assume that you have figured out who you help, because your plan, if you make it about you and what you want, oh, I want to make more money. I don't want as many obligations on my time. I want to create passive income and automation and all these things. That's not really a plan. That's just what you want personally. A great plan is built around the people that you serve, the people that you help. So I'm a big believer in that you should put your customer at the center of your business, not your product. So when it comes to annual planning, let's put our customer at the center, not our product. So we've got the who in the center of our business. We know what they want. We know we have the unique mechanism to help them get what they want. Now we need to come up with a plan to actually make this happen. So in order to make that plan happen, what we also need to do is work on ourselves and our company culture. And we need to do the mission, vision, values work. So to go over it briefly, there's a lot we could do on mission, vision, and values. We have a whole training on this in the Perfect Offer Playbook in the LifterLMS Academy. But just to put the basic ideas out there, A vision is the world that you want to create for your who, for your avatar, for the customer that's literally at the center of your business. One way to think about vision, if you're a little stuck, when it comes to your subject matter expertise, is to think about what wrong do you want to right in the world. So that's you back into your vision by doing an anti-vision of the world you don't want to live in or you don't want to see keep persisting, and fix that for a specific type of person because you have the skills, experience, and knowledge to do that. This is the territory of vision. Mission is how you do it, what success looks like, or what the opposite of failure looks like. LifterLMS is an example. Our vision is to, in the broadest sense, lift up others through online education. I believe that education entrepreneurs are some of the most powerful, impactful, positive, outcome generating people in the world. So I throw out a stone with my software, LifterLMS. An education entrepreneur picks that up and then throws out a stone to help their ideal learner get the results that they're looking for, that which then helps more people. So it's like a stone in the water that has multiple outward ripples of positive impact in the world, while also creating financial impact and creative freedom. So this is the vision territory where I live. But the mission is to help a million education entrepreneurs change the world through online education by launching successful courses, coaching programs, education companies, internal training resources for inside companies, and so on. That's the mission. The values are how you do what you do. So Lifter LMS has 7 core values. And when the first time I heard about values, I think of it as being cheesy. So for example, there are cheesy values like integrity, honesty, synergy, collaboration. Now those aren't bad if those align with you. But to really create strong values, I think you have to get way more specific and not just come up with the name, but actually explain what it means for you. For example, the Lifter LMS company values are community focused, reduce friction, continuous improvement, learner results first, extreme ownership, clear communication, and fulfill potential. Now, I'm not going to go into a big thing about what each of these mean, but these are values that I embody as a leader in the company, and I hire and fire against those values. Whenever I have a difficult decision as a company, I go to those values. They're super important. And a lot of what we do is about reducing friction. That's if I had to pick one that was our primary, that's what we do. We reduce friction through software and also content like you're watching right now. Like this content is I'm trying to reduce friction in your life by sharing with you an annual planning system that I've used for a very long time that really works. So that's mission, vision, and values. So the next thing you want to do comes from the personal development world in terms of developing a vision that's more like a vision board, something that you can see. And basically, even if you have a hard time thinking about that, like I know as a parent, when I ask my kids, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? They have no idea. And you might be listening to this and be like, I'm an adult. I don't have any idea where I'm going to be in 10 years. But I would encourage you to slow down, press pause. And Dan Martell says, dream a little bit. Think about where do I want to be in 10 years? I want to see a lot of people creating online training platforms because I personally believe that there's a course inside all of us. learning and teaching is part of the human experience. And I see always seen this. I see all this value trapped in people where they're not sharing it. They're not helping other people. I call it hoarding all the value. So in 10 years, I want to see 1 million people using Lifter LMS, making money, changing the world, and creating like ideal, extremely creative lives that they're super happy with and proud of. But we can get specific in constructing a 10-year vision. So what do you want your annual revenue to be as an example? Lifter is an example. We've already achieved this where we have customers in every country. I don't think we have a customer in Antarctica, but we have a customer in almost probably 99% of every single country. And that was on the vision, on the plan a long time ago, and we've achieved that. What do you want to be recognized as a leader of? How many employees do you want? Do you want a big company? Do you want a small company? Do you want to be a solopreneur? Do you want to be a micro business, a big business? This episode of LMS Cast is brought to you by Pop-Up Maker, the most powerful, trusted pop-up solution for WordPress. Whether you're selling online courses or memberships, Pop-Up Maker helps you grow your email list, boost sales conversions, and engage your visitors with highly customizable pop-ups. Imagine creating custom opt-ins, announcements, and promotions that actually convert. I personally use Pop-Up Maker on my LifterLMS websites for lead magnet opt-ins, cart abandonment, upsells, downsells, and guiding users to helpful content. Pop-Up Maker is an essential tool for growing my email list and making more money online through my website. Ready to take your website to the next level? Head on over to wppopupmaker.com/LMScast and save 15% on your order. Discount automatically applies when you visit through that link. Pop-Up Maker also has an awesome free version, so you can just use that as well. Go to wppopupmaker.com/LMScast and save 15% off your order, or get started with the free version now. Get more leads and sales on your website with Pop-Up Maker today. Now back to the episode. Do you want to go out on the stock market and have an IPO? What do you want? What kind of like sales motion do you want? What kind of conversion rate do you want? If you saw yourself on a stage 10 years from now, not from an egocentric way, but just from a celebration of success, what award would you be receiving an award for? Is it like some kind of YouTube award? Is it a humanitarian award? Is it a Nobel Prize? What is it? Dream a little bit. So come up with your 10-year target. And the other thing to create a plan around is like, what's your main marketing strategy? Marketing is attracting customers. So what does that look like? How do you close sales after you've got the lead? Like, what is your go-to-market marketing strategy? Are you growing through partnerships? Are you growing through content? Are you growing through ads? So basically, condense your marketing strategy down to your ideal customer, competitive advantage, proven process, and results guarantee. For example, at LifterLMS, our ideal customer is a WordPress website freelancer or agency or do-it-yourself site builder with at least 2 years of WordPress experience. Ideally, they have 4+ years of WordPress experience. They're polite, they're successful with their courses, or their clients are very successful. And then what's your competitive advantage? What makes you unique? We're entering the world of AI disruption, and I can't impress upon you enough how important it is to know what your competitive advantage is as a human and not just the information, because artificial intelligence is making information more of a commodity. In that light, for example, coaching, like going beyond the content and helping people when they're stuck in their unique personal situation, having the human connection, even through the internet, is an extreme competitive example. And then what's your proven process? Do you how do you get customers? How do you get leads? How do you get customers? After they become a customer, how do you make them successful so that they love what you do and refer their friends? And then what's your guarantee? See, this is part of the benefit of planning. Some people get nervous about a guarantee when they have an offer because it feels I can't really offer a really strong guarantee because it's up to the student or the customer to do the work and get the results. But if you're really good at what you do and you're really good at qualifying the people that come in that you allow to purchase from you, you can put out a really strong guarantee. Like I'm talking about 100% of your money back after X amount of time. Like dream a little bit. A guarantee can be a very strong sales tool, but more importantly than helping with conversions, when you think about a guarantee and construct it, what you're doing is really putting your money where your mouth is in terms of what your online education is all about and your confidence in the offer that you're offering. And then you've done the 10-year vision, you're exploring your unique mechanism, which is where we've been about how you do what you do, how it works, what's the process. But dial it back to 3 years. What's your 3-year vision? 10 years feels really hard, but in 3 years, that should be easier. So do you want to be making $1 million, $10 million? Do you want to have 1,000 customers, 10,000, 100,000 customers or clients? What is your vision for 3 years? What do you want to have accomplished in 3 years? Do you want to have a signature course that just sells like hotcakes that you make better and better year after year? Do you want to have a huge membership library of training? Do you want to have this really strong coaching model with other coaches working inside your education company, helping people get results? What do you want? Dream a little bit. Think about those 3-year desired outcomes and accomplishments. And then dial it back again to your 1-year plan. So now this should feel more approachable. One of the reasons we do the 10-year and the 3-year is we want to dial it back to think, all right, cool. I have these big goals. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to put a 10-year goal in a 1-year plan and everything is just, all of it is unreasonable and unlikely to be accomplished. But it's important to dream big at the multi-year, 10-year, 3-year level so that you can come up with a reasonable and strategic 1-year vision. So think about that. What are the revenue targets in 1 year? What are the key projects? Now we're getting more into tactics. What constraints do you want to remove? What friction do you want to remove? And more importantly than anything is, what are you not going to do? Even if it's considered good advice, what are you just not going to focus on the first year? Like your anti-goal list, even if you want to get to it to achieve your 10-year vision, but not this year. Think about that. So once we get past 10-year, 3-year, 1 year, we start getting into quarterly planning. And this is where this should feel relaxing the more tighter the focus gets, because you get more control the closer in time you are to what's coming up. So when you do an annual plan, in this case for 2026, we're ultimately going to end up looking really hard at Q1 of 2026. So I like to do themes per quarter. So what theme do you want to focus on to achieve your 1-year goal in Q1? So in your accomplishments from your 1-year plan, let's say you had 4 goals, like get over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, launch 5 courses, develop like a coaching system, and the other one was to come up with a template library. So it's not just about content, it's also about this awesome value packed resource library you have that's part of your membership. I'm just making these up as an example. But the cool thing about quarterly planning is you don't have to do all those all at once and multitask and simultaneously work on them. So let's prioritize. Like, what is the theme for the quarter? Maybe you have a theme of we're going all in on YouTube, or we're going to go all in on AI to accelerate our business, or we're going to focus on our website and conversions in quarter 1. So you don't have to do them all at once. In fact, it's super dangerous to try to do too much all at once. So like within the theme, like what are the key projects? So if we choose the YouTube theme as an example for quarter 1, that can mean a lot of things. That can mean we're going to start a weekly live stream to attract new clients. We're going to hire a designer to improve our YouTube thumbnails. We're going to upgrade our video and audio and editing equipment. We're going to do brand collaborations with other YouTubers. So you start figuring out your key projects, which is super important. And then once you're in your key projects, it's important to think of not always just doing brand new things. What do we want to amplify that's already working? Let's say we already have a YouTube channel and we see that content about this subtopic within our niche does really well. Let's do more of that and get more exposure on YouTube. And then like if we haven't done live streaming before, that's like a new project. So I recommend actually amplifying what you're already doing well at a greater percentage to adding new projects. So if I had to pick 3 things for YouTube as an example, I might remake some of our oldest top performing content for modern times. That would be a project. Another one would be doing collaborations with other YouTubers, which we've been doing, but do more of that. So those are amplifications, whereas like doing YouTube ads, that's a new thing. So I might do that as like a new project. The other thing that is part of planning is removing problems or constraints. So what's constraining you in your business and how can you remove that bottleneck? So sometimes projects are not about necessarily brand new things. It's about removing things that aren't serving you anymore. So if we keep going with this YouTube example, let's say you don't have a strong home office setup for creating videos and audios and things like that. So you want to remove the constraint of always having to do all this setup to make a decent video so that you can just step into your office. I can turn everything on and I'm ready to roll to make a high quality video. So you're removing a constraint of, time to create a high quality video, which then furthers your goal. And then what do you want to stop doing or not do? So maybe you've been, let's say, blogging every day and doing a ton of social media every day. But in order to do more YouTube, you might need to reduce those things. So let's say you move your blogging to once a week or once every 2 weeks. And in terms of social media, maybe you just take a temporary break from one of your social media channels or find somebody to help so that you don't have to do it as much. Or just choose to discontinue a social media channel that you've been working for a long time that is not yielding any results. So turning things off is just as important as turning things on. So another part of annual planning is developing the business. So I like to say we're really making two products. There's like our education company offer, whether that's a course, a coaching program, a membership site, or whatever it is. But the other product we're making is our business. And our business product is comprised of people and processes and technology. So that whole like business product, what do we want to do there? And particularly what I want to focus on is the people aspect. So maybe you're listening to this and you're a solopreneur, but maybe you occasionally work with freelancers, or maybe you have a team or even have a giant team. So even if you're a solopreneur, creating your organizational chart is a very important part of the annual planning system. And this doesn't need to be fancy. You don't need like a org chart software or have to even create something fancy in Google Sheets or Excel or whatever. But put down like the key functions of the business. The way I divide up an organizational chart is it comes with 7 areas. So those 7 areas are product, marketing, sales, engineering, operations and admin, customer success, and then we have the CEO or the leadership role. Under those, each of those, so if you're doing it low tech, you can literally do it on a Google document with each of those, and then you put bullet points under those, and the bullet points are like breaking out the functions. So as an example, like under engineering or tech, as an example, we might have who's in charge of the website, who's in charge of customizing LifterLMS to meet the needs, who's in charge of the hosting, who's in charge of the marketing automation as an example. And then you put people's names by it. You just build out your org chart so that each key function and sub functions within that function has one name next to it. If you're a solopreneur, your name will be everywhere. But the reason it's an important exercise to do this, even as a solopreneur, is that you can start seeing where you want to get help first. Like perhaps it's under the CEO role. Perhaps you want to hire a virtual assistant to help you first. That could be, but when you do that, you'll start to see, I like being a CEO. I like being a leader. I'm spending a lot of time here, but I also need to spend time over here in marketing or in sales or on product or on engineering or customer success, all these things. And you can start to see where there's a gap. So part of your annual, quarterly planning or 10-year vision, it's about people. It's about the business product. Like what kind of organization do you want to have? What seats need to be filled? What is the personality of those people that you want in those places? So that's a accountability chart. The next thing is to develop a conscious artificial intelligence plan. We're being disrupted as a society, just like when the internet became a thing, by artificial intelligence. So think about that. When you're doing your 10-year vision or your 3-year vision or setting your annual plan or working on a quarter, start thinking about how will AI be involved? How do we want to leverage AI? Even if you don't know like the tool you want or whatever, if we go back to our YouTube example, we might want to figure out how to do better video editing using AI. I'll tell you the answer right now. Get Descript. Descript is an awesome AI-powered video editing tool. It can make shorts for you. If you're watching a clip of this on YouTube, it was made with Descript very quickly. It can remove filler words and gaps and all kinds of stuff. What's your plan for AI, for content creation, for coaching, for marketing, for developing ads, for making your videos better, for doing research? What's your plan? Like, or what do you need? And even if you don't know the answer, that's fine. But come up with the question. How can I use artificial intelligence to help me be a better YouTuber? Bring that question to AI. Dream a little bit. Talk to AI a little bit and think about that one. And the final thing I'll mention, and by the way, I'll say it again, I mentioned it earlier. The annual planning system that I use is free on the LifterLMS Academy. If you academy.lifterlms.com and look for the annual planning system course and enroll in that, you can get the template I use every year to work on my annual plan. And the cool thing is once you've done it once and you come back to do it again the next year, you might have a few updates to your 10-year vision. Maybe you're moving faster or slower in certain areas. So this gets easier the more you use an annual planning system. The last most important part is that you are a human in business. So what personal development goals do you want to set for yourself? Maybe it has to do around your productivity or when you wake up or how stressed you are or your work-life balance or your ability to communicate, public speaking, your personal relationships outside of work, whatever it is, doing an annual plan, I highly encourage you to incorporate personal development so that you become a better person in the process, not just have a better, more profitable, impactful business, because those things work really well together. So planning is a practice. It's not an event. It's all about progress over perfection. And when you really commit to annual planning and give yourself permission to not be perfect, and sometimes you won't hit your targets, sometimes you will overshoot your targets, and that's great. But it's a work in progress. It's a way of being in the world, of operating with a plan. It's like the military. If you think about an elite operating unit, the Navy SEALs or the Army Rangers, they have plans all the time. They're really good at planning. But then when they hit the ground and the stuff goes off, they have to adapt on the fly. And you have to do that in business and in life as well. But planning is really important. And the process of planning, the act of planning, even if the world doesn't go exactly according to plan, your odds of success are going to be so much higher. You're going to be so much more clear, less stressed, adaptable. So I would encourage you to develop your annual plan. Head on over to the Lifter LMS Academy, find the free annual planning system course, fill out the document, you copy it, you put it into your Google Drive or download it and upload it to whatever WordPress processor you use and work on your annual plan. It will change your life. And that's a wrap for this episode of LMS Cast. Did you enjoy that episode? Tell your friends and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And I've got a gift for you over at lifterlms.com/gift. Go to lifterlms.com/gift. Keep learning, keep taking action, and I'll see you in the next episode.